Hi again everyone, how's all doing? So Terry, who sent me the Lima Great Western 94XX recently there, also sent me a wee surprise along with it, namely this Bachmann A4. Now, when I first saw this, when I opened up the package, of course I thought it was a mallard and that I'd probably be selling this on as a charity auction, but yeah, as some of you probably know, Bachmann just put that picture of mallard on a lot of their A4 boxes, but on the end of the box, it says A4 26 Miles Beevor LNER Garter Blue. If that's what this is, I think this is going to be a keeper because, as you know, I do like a blue locomotive and I don't have an A4 in blue. Now, the story about this was that Terry sold it on eBay, but unfortunately it got damaged in the post and the buyer returned it. Terry then decided to donate it on to me. So a big thank you to Terry for this. Fingers crossed the damage isn't serious and I can get this fixed up and running. Let's have a look at it. And there she is. Oh, red wheels too. Very nice. We clearly have front bogie damage. What's in here? Oh, we've got some crew. Yeah, damage to the front bogie and damage to the front buffers. The front buffer beam entirely is gone. I think that's it there. Really nice livery. I really do like that colour with the silver lettering and the red wheels. Yeah, very, very nice. Yep, this will definitely be a keeper if I can get it running. I think there's a problem with the valve gear there as well. Right, okay, we'll get it to the bench and see what's what. Righty dokie then, let's get a look at this. Let's have a look at tender first. A couple of wee marks, but nothing serious. All looks fine. Buffers, couplings, all intact. Handrails. We've got some little bits of polystyrene from the box it was in. These polystyrene boxes, I think I've talked about this before, they're awful things and they're guaranteed to damage your model if you send them in the post in a polystyrene box and don't pack the polystyrene box. You've got to make sure that the model doesn't rattle about inside the polystyrene box. The other problem is you end up with tiny little bits of polystyrene everywhere. There you go. That looks fine. So the damage to the locomotive, what have we got? Well, yeah. The body fixing screws are broken. That's the screws there. They're very small, but we'll try some alternative screws, see if we can get the body to screw on okay. Other than that, it all looks fine. The front buffer beam is off, so I think that should just glue on there fine. That'll be okay. There's a window pane missing, but it's in this bag, so we can fix that in. The locomotive itself is okay. Again, we've got little bits of polystyrene everywhere. Got some fluffage going on. We'll clean all that out. That valve gear needs sorted. The front bogie, the wheels have just popped out the axle because these axles, they split. Yeah, that one's actually quite badly split, so it's very easy for the wheels just to come out. But a wee drop of super glue in there will sort that. That rear axle's probably the same. Yes, it is. They always are. And of course, this being split chassis, there's a fair chance that the axles on the drive wheels are all going to be split and we might have to replace them. But if they're not too bad, a wee spot of super glue will do fine. Off that comes. Actually, these look okay. I need to fix this valve gear. That just pops out. And that should go around like that. Okay, right. Right, I think I'm going to leave these axles alone. There's some very fine cracks on the axles on the drive gear here, but they're very, very fine. There's probably not much point in trying to do anything about it until it gets worse. And then we'll either replace the axles or just super glue them up. One of the two, it'll be fine. I think I will give this a wee bit of a scoosh though. There's a wee bit too much oil in there for my liking. We'll let that evaporate off a wee bit. Right, we shall glue this buffer beam on. I'll just go on like that. It looks like there's been something stuck on either side there as well. Drop a super glue. And that should be fine. So we'll get this window glass. Does it clip in? It pretty much does. There's a crack either side of the screw hole in the chassis there. I think we'll get some super glue into that. Let's get some super glue into this rear bogie axle. Just put the wheels onto the front bogie. Again, we'll get some super glue on this just to sort that. Right, I'm going to put some grease in this. Now this is a new grease I'm using. This is a mixture of silicone grease and PTFE grease. I bought it off Amazon. That's it there. Don't ask me to pronounce the name. It's a Polish brand. But you can get this on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description. And it's, as I say, a mixture of silicone and PTFE grease, which to me is kind of the ideal grease to use. I've used silicone grease, that's just clear silicone grease, and I sometimes use a mixture of white lithium grease and oil. Now that's absolutely fine on metal gears, but ideally I wouldn't recommend using lithium grease on plastic gears. So I've been using either moly grease or silicone grease for that, but this should be a lot better, I think. So we'll give it a go. I haven't used it before, so we'll stick a big dollop on there and we shall see how it does. So let's pop this on the test track and see if it goes. Well, it did for a minute. What's up? Turn that drive gear. It goes. There's something not right. I had hoped this was going to be a fairly simple repair job, but it's kind of looking like I might have to do a bit of a dismantle here to see what's going on. There is a nasty bend on the end of this rod. Is it this one? Yeah, this one. There's a nasty bend there, but I don't think that's stopping it running. Let's try battery. No, interesting. Right, so it runs with a battery to the chassis. Right, if I apply power to the terminals there, yeah, it goes. So it's not the motor, there is something stopping this. Right, okay, I think we're just going to have to take this apart and figure out what's going on. Let's take that out, and then we'll need to undo that screw, which is on this side. Like that. Which should allow me to get that out as well. I'll do those. Don't like doing this because it's so easily broken, but right, we've got all that out. Now then, it seems to work absolutely fine. I think I found the problem. I think these wires have been put on the wrong way around because this one was on this side of the locomotive and that connects to this wheel. Give these wheels another scoosh. Make sure that they're nice and clean. Make sure we get this on the right way round. Going like that. There. Make sure that's right. Now then. No. It's still not going. Qu'est-ce que c'est? That doesn't help. That wire is not connected to anything. Gee whiz. Right, hang on. Let's get this off. Right. Let me just test this. Does this go without pickups on that rear bogie? Yeah, it does. Right, I've got that connected. Yeah, oh God, I've got this wrong. Oh, what an idiot. Right, okay. Take it apart again. That out. So that needs to be fixed. I mean, to be honest, there really isn't much point in having these things. Right, we'll solder that on for what it's worth. I have to admit, I'm sorely tempted just to yank these wires out and not bother with the pickups on this rear pony truck because it's kind of pointless. It wants to connect to that side, and that wire wants to connect to that side. I think what was happening, one of the wires had got loose and it was just touching something it shouldn't be. You know, the other half of the chassis or something was just causing a short circuit. Just didn't quite spot that. However, that should be it now. And say the locomotive will run absolutely fine without these pickups. So, you know, it's a huge temptation just to rip these out and not bother with them. But it just goes against my grain to remove pickups. You know, if anything, you tend to want to add them more than anything else, but removing pickups is just doesn't compute to me at all. Right. We need to get that washer and spring in place. Right. Okay. Is this actually going to run now? Yes, finally. We'll get some oil here, there and everywhere. Okie dokie. Right. Let's see what we're going to do to fit the body on. Right, that's actually quite a big hole. Right, that might fit. Let's see. Let's give it a go. Seems to have worked. Is one of these going to fit in the front as well? Perfect. There we go. Right. I think we're done. Possibly at some point I'll maybe touch up the red paint on the wheels, and we'll fit some crew in there because there's some there, and I think there's another couple of guys in the box. But we'll leave that just now. I really just wanted to get this up and running. There we go. It's a very nice looking thing, I have to say. Right, okay, let's go and pull out the shed and give it a run round the layout with a load of teaks. Okay then, let's bring out Miles Beevor. So there we are, and that's this Bachmann A4 Miles Beevor added to the fleet. Thanks very much again to Terry for sending me this as a donation. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, it needed a wee bit of TLC, broken body fixings, broken front buffer beam, and as usual with these old split chassis models, the axles are the main problem. The front bogie and the pony track axles blew up fine, you know, they're not under any stress, but the drive wheel axles are another matter. The ones on this one aren't too bad actually, but I think I'll order up a replacement set because I suspect that the wheel spacing may drift in and out a bit, and you know, ultimately they will fail completely at some point, so I'll get some ordered up from Peter Spares. The pony truck had a loose wire that was causing a short circuit, which I didn't see initially. I thought the wires were on the wrong way around, but sorted that out. I don't really know why Bachmann bothered with the pickups on the pony trucks on these models, but well, the more the merrier when it comes to pickups, I suppose. Not bad runners, these old Bachmanns, as I've said before. I do find they have a slight tendency to lurch, just very, very slightly, and I'm pretty sure that's just the coarse interaction between the axles and the chassis. Bushings would sort that if it was at all possible to fit them. Right, okay, thanks once again to Terry for sending me this, and I will catch you later, folks.